All right. Good afternoon. That was a little glitchish, but good afternoon. Um, I have with me judicial candidate Oxalis Garcia, and she is running for a judicial seat. She's in Pinellas. What group are you running in?
I'm running for 6th Judicial Circuit, Group 44, served for both Pinellas and Pasco County.
Gotcha. And so when tell me a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. I am a native Puerto Rican, born and raised in the island of Puerto Rico. I married now a U.S. Army vet, but at the time he was active duty. Thanks to him, because I married him, I am licensed in 3 different jurisdictions in Florida, Maryland, and Puerto Rico. Together, we have one child together. Um, I've been licensed for 20 years, so I've been working in the legal field for 20 years, and I am fully bilingual. I've had an opportunity to reside in different parts of the United States in addition to Florida. And for me, being an attorney and working in the legal field is my calling, it's my passion. I knew that I wanted to be an attorney since I was in the 9th grade, and I did it straight away. I finished high school, got my bachelor's degrees in business administration with a minor in human resources, went to law school, got my first bar exam in Puerto Rico, moved to Maryland, got my license in Maryland, moved to Florida, got my license in Florida. And that's when I set my foot down and I told my husband, I can't keep taking any more bar exams. So if we're going to move again, it has to be one of those 3 places, Florida, Maryland, or Puerto Rico, because bar exams are hard.
Yes. And I only took one, and thank God I passed the first time because yeah, it is. It's a 2-day thing. It's like 6 hours each day. But so you've been practicing, did you already mention you've been practicing law for how long now?
20 years. My first
20
license,
years.
I got it in 2006. The first
Okay.
time I walked into a courtroom, the bailiffs thought I was an intern because I was so young.
Wow. And so what areas have you practiced in?
Yes, I have practiced criminal, personal injury, guardianships, probate, family law, and international Hague matters.
Wow.
Um, yeah,
That's
I am
impressive.
known for family law, and I didn't keep doing criminal, so I stopped doing criminal a while back. I also stopped doing personal injury a while back. I do refer those out. I do stay with international hate cases, family law, probate, and guardianship.
Okay. So you're well-rounded.
I am. I like to look at the rules. I like to look at the law, and I like to find solutions for my clients because as attorneys, that's what we get paid for, right? To resolve problems, people's problems.
I know. That's true. Um and sometimes, although certainly we need to make a living, it's not always in depending, on what type of lawyer you are. Sometimes like we really care about human beings and we want to serve them. And sometimes it's not the primary motivation is not money. So, and in your case, it's interesting to me, and I'm going to just generally speak that sometimes when there are attorneys that are practicing for a long time and then they throw their hat into a judicial race, then all of a sudden they become like conscious about serving the public, kind of, I think maybe as to pad, maybe I question. But so it's always impressive to me when years pass and throughout the duration of your practice of law, in that those years, the span of years, you've actually done pro bono work, and that's something
I
that you
have.
have done.
I have. I am a firm believer in giving back to the community and being involved in the community. For that reason, I always volunteer with Bay Area Legal Services, Gulf Coast Legal Services, and Community Law Program. It is in my firm. I always have one pro bono case going at a time at a minimum. I've had up to 3, but I try to keep it between 1 and 2. It's important to help the community. I consider myself to be blessed. I consider myself to have been have had many opportunities throughout my lives, even though I've also had some hard times. So I like to give back because if God gives something to you, you need to give back to the community. It's you need to pay it forward.
100%. And those hard times, they make you better, I think.
They shape you,
They
definitely.
shape you. They do shape you. And sometimes if you let those hard times shape you to be better and to try to learn something from it, God uses that to make to.
Absolutely.
So
Uh,
yeah, very impressive. I saw that on that screenshot that you had been recognized when, I don't know, that's not dated, or maybe it is. I think it's dated 2021, but you'd been at that time recognized as having been serving since 2014. So that's a
that is
significant
correct.
amount of years leading into now, uh, more than a decade that you've now decided, I want to be a judge. You've been serving
Yes,
20 years, and a good chunk of that time you've been serving um, people that need a lawyer and maybe cannot afford one. Your heart has been there. Um, let me ask you, at this point, what made you decide after 20 years that you just wanted to be a judge?
I noticed things that I thought could be done differently in the courtroom. And I am a firm believer that when you see a problem, you also need to propose a solution. So I decided to do what I do with it, which is promote a change. And that's what I'm trying to do, to become a public servant and follow my ethics and my integrity to bring that change to the bench that I think is needed.
Okay, well, and I hear you. And listen, we're human. I'm changing continuously because until I die, I have to, there's changes that can be made because we're not perfect. So in any system, there's always room for improvement. If you say no, we're good. This doesn't need to continue undergo
No,
change.
they say that the only thing constant in life is change.
100%. So
Yes,
so anytime somebody runs, it's not a negative on the predecessor necessarily. It's just there's always room for evolving and changing. Um, be
correct.
serving on the bench.
Correct. It's an opportunity for me not to continue to give back to the community, to become a public servant, and to bring to the bench those changes that I believe would benefit the community. Specifically, I believe people need to be heard and feel that they're understood, even if the ruling is not in their favor. Because laymen's individuals, they don't attorneys, we speak a different language to them. And for me, it's very important that whoever walks in front of my courtroom feels that they have been heard, that even if the ruling was against them, that they presented their case, and it's just that the law was not on their side.
Right, that's important. I've seen both. I've seen judges wanting to rush people, and some that you remember, uh, certain judges that they really painstakingly really want to listen to the person. And we all go through that. When we are in a dilemma, our own dilemma, we want to be heard. And sometimes because of the busyness, especially of this country, everybody's busy. And sometimes that even me, I feel bad that I can't take time to listen to whomever, not necessarily in the context of a lawyer, but we're so busy that time is so limited. And that's important for that one time that judges' dockets be such that they could apply a sufficient amount of time to everybody on that docket that day. So
I
there's
have a
something.
high respect for all the judges. Um, Hence why I'm also decided to run. They have a very difficult job. They're gonna they're gonna make someone unhappy no matter how they rule. And they're gonna be blamed for their rulings as well. And most of them want to do a certain thing, but bound by the law to do something differently. So they don't have it easy as it is. However, I went to a graduation recently, my child's graduation, and during the graduation speech, it was said that wisdom is seeking truth. It is listening before deciding. And that's what I want to bring to the bench. I want to bring wisdom to the bench. I want to be able to listen and seek the truth before making a decision so that the individuals, because I believe we need a little bit more empathy. I believe we need become more human. Our society is a rat race, and we're going and going, and we're so used to instant gratification that we've lost that human side to all of this. And at least for me, when I became an attorney, is because I wanted to help people. And there's a myriad of ways that we can help people. And I think it's this time in my professional career for that next step and see if I can help more individuals by being a judge.
That empathy comment, that's absolutely true. I've had the ability of seeing judges at times demonstrate empathy. It's not something that's unfortunately routine, but at times when I have throughout the span of my career, I've seen it. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing for a judge that, especially in the criminal justice system, and even in the civil with family law, it's hard when there's kids involved, right?
Absolutely.
So it's a beautiful thing to see them really like be engaged empathetically and not just, because they really care. Um, what else did we should we cover? We should cover that. Has early voting started? I'm a little out of the loop these days because I'm so busy, but this is
So,
a good thing to do so that voters can become acquainted with the
yes.
candidates. But when has it started yet?
So early voting starts August 6th and it runs all the way through August 18th
I'm
because
way out
there's
of the
only
loop.
two. Yes.
Wow, it's
Well,
May.
not,
And
not,
I'm
not
like,
too
the
much,
voting
not too
start
much.
already? Jeez.
There have been a lot of changes, so it's hard to keep up. But early voting starts August 6th and it runs through August 18th. My race gets decided on August 18th because there's only two candidates running. But mailing votes start in July. I believe the mailing ballots should be mailed out sometime around July 9th. So people can do mailing ballots, they can do early voting, they can go to the polls. The election is August 18th. If they want to know more about me, they can go to my website, Oxalis for Judge. I say that's where they can find all my secrets, including a clip of an interview that I had the opportunity to, not an interview, I'm sorry, a legal consult that I had the opportunity to do for one of the cast members of 90 Day Fiancé. The network actually reached out to me and asked me to do this consult.
Oh,
So,
okay, that's awesome. So
yes.
I wish that I would be let me see if I can do this. Chat. Mm, no, I'm not gonna be able to, but in any event, um, it's so small here. I wish I could enlarge this. Let me see if I could just twist. No. Mm-mm. All right. Well, it's say. Can you say the URL, the address?
Yes, the webpage is Oxalis for Judge, just like my first name, Oxalis for
So it's
Judge.
OXALIS,
LIS. Yes.
and then spell out
Oxalis
four.
for Judge. No, just the word FOR, Judge.
Right. So spell out four, FOR.
Oh, yes, yes.
So it's
Spell it for me.
Oxalis, OXALISFORJUDGE.com.
Correct.
Okay, good. So is there anything that you want to like discuss on your website?
So on my website, there's an about section. They can see what my judicial philosophy is, which is just the law, just justice. I also talk about listening to people, which is the empathy aspect that we just discussed a little bit. And you can see videos about the tragedy that my family lived through in 2023 when we were victims of Hurricane Idalia. Hurricane Idalia flooded our house and it caught on fire and it burned down to the ground. Everything was a total loss. It was actually the house that the agency FEMA was brought to declare Pinellas County an emergency area. So
I remember. Yeah.
Yes. You know, I think one of the aspects that I bring to the bench is a different perspective because I have a multi-jurisdictional experience. I've practiced in Puerto Rico, I've practiced in Maryland, I've practiced in Florida. That gives me a unique perspective. In addition to that, I'm bilingual. So if any Hispanic families or any Hispanic defendant is in front of me, I can understand their cultural nuances when hearing out their case. So these are things that are sometimes overlooked when a case is being decided, and it influences, and it could influence a case. It's like similar to in criminal when they have things that make the crime worse or a lesser crime, depending on the circumstances. So the same applies in civil and family law. And these are things that I'm hoping I can bring to the bench.
Okay, so I went on a tab, key election dates, and that's something that I'd like for the voters to follow on these dates. July 4th is the deadline to send vote by mail ballots to UOCAVA voters. What is that?
I believe that is for them to apply to get mail.
Okay, so
ballots
I
by
don't know
mail.
what the abbreviation is, but so deadline July 4th, 20 this coming July, deadline to send in vote by mail ballots. July 9th to the 16th, deadline to send vote by mail ballots to domestic voters. July 20th, deadline to register to vote or change party affiliation. August 6th, deadline to request that ballot be mailed. August 8th to the 15th, early voting period, mandatory period. And then August 18th is the day that you could go in person to
vote. Yes.
Or during early voting, you can go in person too. So, all right. Well, I covered those. They're on her website. Again, Oxalis, Oxalis, FOR4, Judge, JUDGE.com. Those important dates are on there, and everything you'd like to know about her before you make a decision as to who to vote for. Is there anything else you'd like to address?
Yes, this is a nonpartisan election. So even though the election gets decided in the primaries, even if the individuals are not registered with one political party or another, they can still vote for nonpartisan positions. So that means that they get to vote for judges, even if they're not affiliated with a political party. They don't have to be. They can be registered as independent and still vote for judges. So it's important for people to have a say and who gets to be a judge, because as judges, we have people's lives in our hands and we make decisions. So people should get out there, exercise their right to vote, and not just vote for judges, vote for everybody else too, but don't forget to get out there and vote.
Well, that's true. And the reason why I'm here on a Saturday with you and with any other candidate, any candidate that's running in this circuit certainly can come on to address the voters. But it's important. I started doing this in 2014, 2015, because you know this, a lot of our family friends at that time, they were always saying, like, who do I vote for? And either they skipped it, that part of the ballot, which is crazy, because you're right. That's one of the branches of government, and the judges do impact people's lives in great ways. And so that's why I started doing this, just my little civic part to bring information to voters. So right now, because of technology and the ability to stream and put people out there on different platforms, voters, you can Google the sample ballot that you get before, while the election is ongoing, so that you can vet the candidates. Thank you so much for coming on, for the benefit of the community in the Sixth Circuit, so that they can know more about you and be informed, and do their homework before they cast a vote. Thank you so
Yes,
much for
thank you
joining
for
us today.
inviting me. Thank
Of
you,
course.
Heidi.
Yes. Everyone have a great rest of your Saturday and weekend.